Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's ShinoDBD, your gaming anime ninja, and today I'm here with another story time with Shino. Today I just wanted to take some time to hang out and talk to you guys a little bit about essentially how I got started with Dead by Daylight, or how I found Dead by Daylight to begin with. For those of you guys who know, I've been playing Dead by Daylight pretty much. I wasn't a beta player. I came in, I want to say a week or two after the game launched. So I've been since season one. I've been rank 1 ever since the very first season, but I've been playing just about since the game came out. Maybe I want to say I picked it up either mid to late July, which I believe it came out July 13th or 14th, and I picked it up like maybe a week or two later. But I digress. I wanted to talk to you guys about how I got started with Dead by Daylight and what the whole story's been about, and why I've been playing the game for as long as I have, or at least my thoughts on why I've been playing the game and why everyone's been playing and watching the game for so long. When I first got started with Dead by Daylight, it was a very, very, very long time ago. I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing, but I first found it actually through a lot of the guys on the Polaris stream team, or the Game Station podcast. This is long after they stopped being the Game Station, but you probably know, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, you probably know essentially, I believe it was a group Let's Play between Dodger, Crindor, I want to say Jesse Cox, and Total Biscuit. And there might have been a few other people who were involved in it. I'm not sure if Strippin was. It's been a very long time. The main three people I remember for sure, though, was Dodger, TB, and Crindor. I'm positive Crindor was there. TB may not have been. But they were basically trying out the game. They did like a little Let's Play video showcasing it. Everyone got a turn to play killer. Dodger, I remember specifically Dodger was doing the I guess Tsundere Wraith killer. So she was the like why won't you love me killer who kind of chased everyone around, which was a lot of fun and was really interesting to watch overall. But I had a lot. When I mean like I had a lot of fun watching just all of them play with each other, play with their friends, test out the game, and all sorts of stuff like that. And like I said, that was pretty much like how I first saw the game. Now, when I saw them playing it, to be completely honest, my mind immediately went to another game. And by that, I mean the other game that I went to check out was a game called, as you guys may know now, called Last Year. I had heard of Last Year actually quite a few years before Dead by Daylight, and had assumed that this had just been either like what it had spun off into, because I believe it had started as a Kickstarter, and this was kind of like its newest iteration. So that I had a decent idea of what the types of games would be about from my understanding of Last Year. I just didn't realize that these were two completely different games. Eventually I figured it out, but I just wasn't, that's kind of, I guess you could say, brought me into it. That being said, after watching them play, they only did like one Let's Play ever where they all sat down and played it, and Total Biscuit and a few other people couldn't be bothered to play it again, so they never got back into it. So after that, though, I was super interested in the game, and then I was seeing Twitch and a couple of Facebook websites videos were like posting about the new craze game that everyone's like streaming, and you know everybody's getting into on stream. And so I decided to check out like a few more people streaming it. At which point in time, you know, I saw, you know, I went to Twitch, as most people do. I pulled up the Dead by Daylight directory, and I want to say the very first person that I started watching, I believe, was actually Omewrecker. Omewrecker was streaming it. I just kind of clicked on a stream because he was one of the first top 5 that I saw, which is one of the reasons why we bring up being top 5 in the directory is really important, because that's pretty much the only way people discover you. But from spending my time there, I watched him for a little bit, and then he went offline. And after watching him, I ended up going into the 2 other people I know for sure that I had to go watch was Farlight Excalibur and I know his name. Why can't I remember his name right now? I had his name in my head at the start of this video. Give me one quick second so I can remember his name. I want to say that his name was Cream. I'm unable to find his Twitch right now to try to like verify, but I'm almost positive it was another streamer named Cream who played Dead by Daylight. He may have just changed his name on Twitch or something like that, and maybe that's why I'm having a hard time finding him, remembering him. But it was Omewrecker, Cream, and then Farlight Excalibur. And I remember specifically there was like a little back and forth between Farlight and Cream about whether or not Hellbilly was actually a good killer. There are some people who are already very early on starting to swear by Hillbilly, and other people saying that Hillbilly was trash simply because his chainsaw was way too hard to use. Um, but over time, like those are the guys I watched, and then eventually, just kind of tuning in and watching every day, I was tuning into Omrek, and Omrek decided to end. You know, he would stream literally all night, so I'd be watching in the middle of the night, like anytime I went on live, like he was live. And so one of the times he decided to end, he started ending during the day. And then this would be, I went to look for someone new who was at the top of the directory, and then this would have been when I found Hexy, or Sexy Hexy as he was at the time. I won't lie, I enjoyed watching a lot of the other DBD streamers for like getting to learn the game and watching different matches in the game and stuff like that. And it was a lot of fun, but I didn't enjoy watching the stream or really feel comfortable in the stream until I got to Hexy's stream. A big part of that was watching especially was very much like watching like one of the Let's Players. So like it was very similar to how it would feel if I was watching like PewDiePie or if I was watching like Markiplier or something like that. I was entertained, but I didn't necessarily really feel engaged, if that makes sense. And by that I mean, I guess I didn't really feel comfortable. I know it sounds kind of weird to say and stuff like that, but like ultimately I think when I was joined Hexy or got to watch Hexy stream and joined Hexy's community, it was watching Hexy was very much like, to my opinion, it was like hanging out with my boys. Like he was a very different type of content creator. He had a very different type of humor. There were a lot more memes. Things were a little bit more raunchier, but for me, just things felt more real. The simplest way I could put it is, if you've ever seen a show called Rescue Me on FX or The Shield, Sexy's chat came with a lot more of a darker humor, if you would. I didn't feel like everything needed to be super prissy. It was literally for me like hanging out with my friends. It was the types of jokes I'd make with my friends. It was the types of like, conversations we'd have. There was some trash talk, friendly, but still trash talk. There was yelling, there were disagreements, but it was a good time with people that, even if you didn't agree with everybody, which I felt like we all agreed with each other, but even if you didn't agree with everyone, it was back and forth between people you related to, regardless if you agreed with each other or not. And to this day, to be completely fair, I find that very rare to find in any other Twitch streams, which is why to this day I'm still subbed to Hexy's. Currently my longest running sub on Twitch at about, I want to say 36 months. I believe I had got my 3-year badge. I could be wrong on that. 36, 37 months, something like that. But I digress. Ever since then, like watching Hexy is what eventually made me want to stream Dead by Daylight, because I felt if someone like him could stream it and like still be doing as well as he was and have like be as entertaining and everyone be having such a good time, there was no reason I couldn't. And so that's what made me end up among other things, that's what made me really pick up like streaming Dead by Daylight. And so that just kind of became like how I got started and like where I was. Like I would be playing it, I would be streaming it, and then like Hex is who I would go to when I wanted to watch like killer gameplay or killer and survivor gameplay. And then Angry Pug is where I go when I wanted to watch survivor gameplay. I went to Angry Pug's channel one just to kind of learn. Like I did a lot of my early learning for like how to jukes, like run jungle gyms and stuff like that, and how to run T-walls and things like that early on from watching Angry Pug. And he was actually the very first DBD streamer I subbed to. And then I subbed to Hexy later that day because I felt like I needed to sub to Hexy at that point. But I subbed to Angry Pug because I ended up getting in a game with him, and I ended up unfortunately I think I left him to die, and I felt bad about it. So that's why I ended up subbing him. I can't remember what happened, but I think we ended up having to leave him behind, and I felt bad. So I went into his channel and said, GG, my bad, my dude, and I subbed, and I told him I'll get you out next time, or I'll do whatever I got to do next time to get you out. But he was cool about it, and he was super chill. And like I said, this was still month 1 of Dead by Daylight, if not like week 2 or 3 of DBD. So it was a much different place, much different community. But I had a lot of fun hanging out with Pug, hanging out with, Hexy and all those different people who were part of the community for a really long time. And that's just kind of, like I said, how I got my start. So after that, like I picked up the game. I very quickly enjoyed sabotaging. My main thing for enjoying, I leveled Jake 3rd. I didn't level Jake 1st. But I picked up Mega, maxed out Mega, picked up Claudette, maxed out Claudette. And then the trifecta back then was, the Sprint, Burst, Self-Curse, Sabo. That was like the 3 perks you ran. And then pretty much everyone else outside of that ran Spine Chill. It was either Spine Chill, you started off running Premonition, eventually you upgraded to Spine Chill, and then way down the line, people stopped running Spine Chill once Nurse came out because it didn't matter if you knew the killer was coming anymore. You couldn't do anything about it. And you got a little bit better at juking overall. But that being said, I think one of the reasons why I gravitated to Sabotage was hanging out in Hex's community. And just in general, I've always been a bit more competitive. And being one of the better jukers of my friends, I realized that killers would get really frustrated when survivors would sabotage their stuff. And so with that in mind, I knew that if I was the one saboing, it would mean more likely than not the killer would choose to target me over targeting my friends who are still, newer to the game or not as good at the game. And so I could, use their aggro, if you would, to draw their attention and draw them away from my team long enough for my team to be able to do the generator send us to get out. So I originally became a saboteur for the purpose of drawing the killer's aggro because I knew it got a lot of killer ire back then. But on top of that, in the off chance that, say my team wasn't very good and they decided to go after my team anyway, if I decided to sabo, the killer would get punished for not focusing, the real threat on the team, because then they'd have nowhere to hook all my friends and teammates afterwards and just have to leave them on the ground. And back then you could recover a lot more, and there's a lot of other stuff going on, but it was, simply put, it was just a much different game back then. But I had a lot of fun. I don't regret it. I won't lie, some of how I played back then kind of rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and I've been okay with that, because if you're not going to like me because I want to win with my team, if you don't like people who want to win, you wouldn't last long in my community anyway, because we like to win around here. So I've always been like, you know what, I want to win, I want to do what's necessary to win, and I'm okay with that. If you don't like me for that, that's cool with me. And I've just ever since then, I've always just been the black sheep, but I've been black all my life, so I've never really minded being the black sheep in anywhere, you know what I mean? I've always been the one who wanted to stand out, but I digress. That's how I got started with Dead by Daylight. Like I said, the main reason I'm still playing it now is because I love the competitive aspect of the game. I love being able to get better, compare myself to other people, have them compare themselves to me, and finding different ways I can improve on. And to be fair, although it's few and far between these days, there's still a lot of things you can always do to improve on DBD. So I do enjoy that aspect of the game and getting to try new builds and things like that. But yeah. That's pretty much all I got for today for Storytime with Shino. But I've told the story, I know, a few times on stream. Maybe not fully connected, from how I got started to who I was watching and what I did in the beginning of the game. But that's pretty much the story of how I got started with Dead by Daylight. You guys have any other questions about me and DBD and our long history? You're always welcome to bug me about it. And if you don't know, as I said before, I've told the story on stream. I also stream. You're more than welcome to come by. I stream just about every day, Monday through Friday. Link to that will be in the description down below, and probably floating on the screen right now. But either way, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, my name is ShinoDBD, the gaming and having ninja, and I'll catch you guys later, alright? Deuces.